Hello and welcome back to Eyes of Saemyth. We're on session 25 already. Holy shit. Look how far we've come. Wow. We're going to start off with a recap. Whoever does the recap gets an inspiration for the session. Who would like to give us our recap for the session?
I haven't done one in a little bit. I haven't done one in a little bit.
How did you know?
I'll do it. I'll do it.
Yeah, go on, Lyre. Give us a rundown.
Okay. So, going off a lot of memory, last session we made our way down from the top of the Asos Ridge after visiting 𝘞𝘰𝘮𝘭𝘥, spending the night, getting some gear, talking about the plan, Lyre getting his powers back, Ymir and the party learning a lot more about the White Wolf as well. A lot of things. But party made their way down the mountain and took out an Earth Elemental in 2 rounds because we're fucking units. And then headed on down to the temple, where there were, correct me if I'm wrong, Toby, 9 statues of the gods because 2 were destroyed? Yeah, tell me more when you're muted. I love it.
There were 7 left.
7 left, yes.
What,
yeah,
8,
so
10? No,
there were
7. Yeah,
2
7.
were destroyed, right?
Yeah.
But conversations were had. Kaiden made a friend with the worker of the temple and confused and scared her a little bit. Sinza learned a bit more about her brother and his connection with their gods, and I guess saw her brother's last moments, we assume. I guess?
Question mark.
Ymir had moments with their god as well, and had interesting and deep conversations with followers of their god, while Lyre had his first real confrontation with Asos. Sort of. Afterwards, the party made their way back up from the temple and entered the Violet City of Gold after giving their titles, I believe. Entering into the city and seeing for them.
Let's go last name now.
Yeah, let's go last name. But upon entering the city, they saw a big old city that is beautiful in every way, and were ready to set off on their next adventure, I guess.
Okay. Yes, take your inspiration for the session. So,
thank you very much.
I'm going to move you guys over onto something a bit more on brand in terms of audio. So as you guys make your way into the city of Violet Gold, as I've previously described, the city is built into the mountain itself. Houses upon houses are kind of stacked upon top of each other up the walls of this gigantic cavern. The only natural light piercing from a gigantic kind of hole in the ceiling that sort of tunnels this beam of sunlight down into a bowl in the center of the city, a large golden bowl that's almost like in the middle of an arena that you can see from the entranceway as you walked in. Ahead of you stretches a long, winding market that is bustling with people, the majority of which are dwarves, but not entirely. There is a handful of other people who seem to be visitors, similarly to yourselves, or perhaps people upon invite, given that this place is quite exclusive, it seems. On the far end of the cavern, you see a gigantic statue of the Worldweaver holding up almost like a castle-like structure, with a huge balcony overlooking the rest of the city. As the guide who had brought you in had kind of pointed out certain areas to you, there is an area to like the far left of the cavern, from as you're looking in, that is more kind of green than the rest of the cavern itself. Like there's natural kind of foliage here. There's like trees and bushes and a little waterfall kind of stepping out through the stone. And you were pointed at and told that this is kind of the guest quarters. This is probably where you would be staying. That you could make your way through, and just let one of the guards know, and they will take you to the council when you are ready, the Amaranthine Council. But for the time being, the city is yours to explore.
Okay, so what is it we want to do first? Did we want to go see Genka? Did we want to address the council right away? What's the plan?
I think going to see Genka would be an appropriate move.
Okay.
Go say hi.
Kaiden? Thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, last time I was in the city, I kind of got, like, tortured. So, I don't know how I feel at the moment.
Okay. Let's go.
Ymir will be joining you a bit later in the session, but for the time being, she will just kind of trail along with you and probably cling to one of you quite tightly, given that it's, you know, a big city, sure, and she likes to tell herself that she's a little girl in the big city, but she's also kind of out of her depth here. So she'll be clinging close to you. As you make your way through, you are kind of hit by sound and smells and different sights of so many different kind of shiny, interesting things. There's just lots of different, like, there's like people selling trinkets, there's magic items, people selling staves, like weapons, armor. This is an artisan city. They make the most like beautiful things you can find on Sif with the materials that they have. You saw people selling food of all kinds. There's someone selling almost like this thick, you'd assume to be some kind of stew, with a bread next to it that looks like a hunk of rock, but it's not. It's clearly not rock because the guy's carving into it, and it kind of smushes a little bit underneath the knife as he's chopping it open. But most people here you do notice you are getting a few funny looks, especially Sinza and Kaiden, because you are towering over the people who live here. But for the most part, people are kind of smiling at you as you walk past. There's a couple of traders who are like kind of getting your attention and trying to, show off their wares, as they do.
One of those probably would distract Kaiden.
Kaiden, there is like this. You can see this guy who's selling the stew, and there's this hunk of like kind of partially moldy cheese next to it that he's kind of shaving off bits of and then putting it on top of the stew and selling it to people. And he's looking at you like, "Hey, big man."
Me. Yeah. He's gonna walk over.
So generally, like the food that's in this, it seems to be kind of a mix of parsnips, peas, onion, garlic, lots of root vegetables. There's some gourds and pumpkin in there. And these, like most of the time, food here is kept in dry vaults underground because they can't grow anything naturally underground, ? And a lot of their food has to either be imported or has to be something that they can make while they are without sunlight, as most other kind of people are. And he kind of offers you a large bowl, and he's like, "You want to try some? You want to try some curry, big man?"
Oh yeah. It smells really nice. What's in this?
He lists off. This is quite a list. Give me a sec. So it's peas, onions, garlic, beets, squash, gourd, pumpkins, carrots, beans, celery, parsnip, shallots, and turnips.
I know half of those things, so that sounds pretty good to me.
He gives you a bowl of it, and he's like, "For you, you're a big lad. 5 copper. How's that sound?"
Yeah, that sounds good. And he'll give, I mean, he's only got silver on him, the gold and and silver.
I'm just gonna give 5 silver instead.
He doesn't understand, so he's going
That's
to give him 5
copper,
silver.
He looks at you and goes, "Ready?" and just pockets it. Hey, perfect. Thank you. You're a bright one, aren't you?
Well, I don't think I don't really glow, but thank you. Where are the others? Are they quite far away?
We've probably just been like wandering towards. I don't know how long you took, but you.
I'll rush back over to him with the stew, and he's just munching and follow back with the group.
While Kaiden was off running, can I take a look around, see if I can find any shops that have spell scrolls? Just I'm looking for a name of a spell shop or a shop in general.
Yeah. So as you're kind of looking around, you do see quite a few people selling almost like magically imbued items.
Mm-hmm.
And there's one with a large kind of woven basket sat on the table that has a handful of scrolls sticking out of it. And then behind it is a sign that has been carved up that says, "Any spell you want, I'll do it for you."
Oh boy, okay. Didn't have a name for the shop, or was that it?
It doesn't seem like there's a name on it. There is a person sort of stood on a stool behind this behind the table, and it's like lots of trinkets everywhere and whatnot, and they are dressed all in green, with kind of a bandana over their head, and a sort of a large, almost like ginger beard, that is like, it's just perfectly round on the bottom of his chin.
Noted. Okay, cool.
Are you actively heading over, or are you just kind of?
No. I'm just keeping an eye out because I'm still heading towards Genka. I'm just keeping an eye out.
Kaiden, you have like this shred of cheese on top of your stew, called chuff. It's a very strong aged cheese. So it's just this shred of the top, and it's just kind of melted into the stew. It's a very hearty meal.
He's been hungry, so he's got he's good. He's got a good meal to like fill him up.
You know. He goes full boar mode.
All the rest, yeah.
It.
You hear like the boar munching.
Kaiden,
Yeah.
mouth closed.
Oh, did you want some?
No, close your mouth when you chew.
Oh, it is closed.
As you're making your way across the city, excuse me, you are passing by, as you're kind of leaving the market district, you're passing by what you would assume to be like a coliseum. This place is fucking massive. And in the center of it, inside, is this gigantic offering bowl that's maybe 40 feet across and about 20 feet up. And it matches the size of the kind of the hole in the sky up at the top of the straightest summit that's leaving this trail of sunlight and a bit of snow, but it doesn't seem to reach too far down here as the snow melts before it gets down here. As you're making your way around, everyone roll me a perception check.
9.
9.
2 9s.
14.
14. Kaiden. The two of you are a bit too focused on kind of where you're going and what's around you and that sort of thing. But Kaiden, you're noticing there is a surprising number of people dressed in this gold gilded armor. Guards, you'd assume so, of some kind, on patrols around the city. kind of smiling to citizens as they make their way past and holding brief conversation, but they're all very heavily armed. They've got heavy crossbows, blades at the hip. Most of them are carrying either axes or almost like war picks, like mining equipment that has been repurposed. But they're all in this kind of golden gilded armor, with a sort of purple gem embedded in the chest.
A rock.
But they're all kind of making their way around. A rock.
A rock.
But yeah, they're all there. Kaiden, you're good with rocks. Roll me an intelligence check at advantage.
Let's go.
Roll for rock.
Roll for rock.
RFR.
Intelligence. It's your straight intelligence.
Just straight intelligence at advantage.
Got -2 in it. So that's,
Come on, double digits.
Yeah, it's a 10.
A 10.
It's double digits.
I mean, the rock is real pretty. It's real pretty. It's a very nice kind of deep purple color. And given where you're currently standing, you're kind of looking over at some of the rocks that are sticking out of the stone that are built into this mountain. It's a very similar color.
Okay. Well, I don't know what rock. I just know it's not in my collection.
It is not in your collection.
Make a mental note to try and get hold of one of those rocks. Leaving.
As you're kind of turning around the far end of the Colosseum, it's hard to miss, but all of you notice this gigantic kind of almost like temple-like structure, with a carving in Dwarvish over the front of it, if anyone speaks Dwarvish. No?
Maybe there's not.
There is a sign, but you can't read it. So unfortunately, it's you don't quite know what this building is. But as you're kind of passing by, there is a glass dome over one end that's almost like a conservatory on the end of this building. As you peer in, you can see rows upon rows upon rows of books. There's a few people sat outside reading in the conservatory. Some people studying, kind of got piles of books on the table with them, that sort of thing. You'd assume this is probably a library, that makes sense. Or at least a place of public knowledge. As you pull up towards the statue of the World Weaver, there is a young man. You'd assume to be young. It's kind of hard to tell with dwarves sometimes. He's not got, his beard is trim. It's not quite as dramatic as many other dwarven beards. He's got kind of short greying hair, perhaps stress, who knows. But he's stood in this kind of golden armor, with a spear at his hip, kind of holding it up. And he nods to you. Hey, welcome, visitors.
Pleasure to meet you. How are you?
Quite good. Hey, how's the city treating you? You alright?
Well, we've been here about an hour, just sort of making our way through. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I'm sure the matriarch would be happy to hear that.
You are very heavily armored. Is it a natural defense thing? Is there something you're waiting to attack, or?
What, you think I grew this myself?
No, I mean, for guards.
No, dear.
For guards, even heavy armor is usually reserved for military, I guess. But I've only ever really seen leathers or light armor on guards. So,
well, we like to just make sure that we're putting on a good public feast,
Right.
We've had a couple of problems in and out of the city recently, so we've upped our how do you say it?
Defenses.
Stalk. That's the one. Defenses. I wouldn't worry too much. Don't worry, we've got the situation under control. But I wouldn't be afraid of us. The Amaranthine Guard are not. We're not warmongering in any way, as much as some people might say that dwarves are.
Right.
And you think we should be keeping our eyes out while we're traveling through, or if we see something, go the other way?
Aye, if you see something, report it to the nearest guard, and we'll try and handle the situation. We try not to get civilians involved, especially guests involved in matters of the city, unless we really need to. But if you're keeping your eyes out, I mean, I'm not going to say no.
Is it just like people stealing, or?
We've stealing.
Or if
It's
we
not
see
like petty theft.
Yeah.
We've had a few kind of pretty major robberies recently, so they're kind of hard to miss when they happen. But yeah, if you see someone suspicious, that might be worth reporting, just so we can keep tabs on it.
Of course.
Thank you. Is there anything I can help you with while you're here?
Yeah, where do I get one of those rocks?
One of these? And he kind of points to his armor. I mean, I think he kind of pulls a bit of a face.
He's a collector of rocks, so.
Right. I'm not the person to ask, because it's almost, this stone is sacred here in the city of Eylick. I really wouldn't go around trying to kind of nab one unless you get one.
You're not allowed to buy one.
We try not to make a profit off of sacred stone, if you understand what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might get given one by somebody, but we can't stop people giving you things, but we couldn't sell it.
Okay.
You have to earn it, by the sounds of it, Kaiden.
We'll have to figure out how to earn one.
Maybe stop a big-ass robbery.
I think we should find this robber.
Okay.
Whatever robber there is.
Like I said, trying to get civilians involved in guard matters. It's
No. I'm invested now. You've made me invested. It has piqued my interest.
Did we ask your name? Sorry.
No, it's Thran.
Thran. My name is Lyre.
Pleasure. And he offers a handout.
I shake his hand.
God, he's got a strong grip. Holy shit.
Look. If it helps, we're a pretty hearty crew. Getting involved in guard matters, I understand, might be against policy, but if you ever need hired hands and we're available, we might be able to take on some work if needed.
Oh yeah, I can let the guard captain know.
And a bit of extra gold on the side.
Also, having somebody who's not dressed like this, you'll be a bit less suspicious, you know.
Undercover, deep cover.
Yeah, totally not noticeable. Looks at Kaiden and Sinza.
Looks at the blue boy.
Looks at bright blue. Looks at Asimov. Yeah.
Totally inconspicuous.
Yeah.
Very colourful bunch.
Aye, quite. Not your typical kind of people we see here, but it's a nice chain.
Yeah. But if your captain needs convincing of our capabilities, we took down an earth elemental without a scratch.
I'll keep that in mind.
Well, I'm gonna go look at some books. I got some reading to do.
Do you want to do that before dealing with the council?
Oh, yeah, we're not ready for the council yet.
Yeah, I thought we were going to go see
We need to
Genka.
talk.
Because Genka's in the
Yeah.
library, isn't she?
Genka's,
Yeah.
they were last seen in the library. They may
Oh,
come.
Hmm.
Thran,
Hey,
have you seen Duke Genka around at all?
his face he frowns a little. Are you looking for the Duke?
Well, Lyre will pull out the chain with the ring on it. Visiting.
Oh, shit.
Visiting.
It's like, oh.
I just love that shit.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Visiting on
Oh,
behalf
shit.
of an old friend of theirs.
Old friend, their fucking husband. Alright. I wasn't expecting that. I'm very sorry. Noble title? No. Yes. No.
Lyre is fine. Lyre Weavewalker.
Lyre Weavewalker. Alright. And oh shit. And he kind of sits himself up a little bit more.
Oh
It's
god, what have I done?
You're fine. You're fine.
We don't often get visitors with the ring. There's only a handful of people who have a ring from him, so when strangers come in with it, then you must be pretty important. I can go and talk to the matriarch if you'd like. She'll know where the Duke is. If anything, he's probably up there with them. And kind of points above him to the almost castle-like structure above you.
I mean, sure. I'll look at the body for.
We can. I'm sure you want to do some reading, so we can do some reading while we wait if you want.
Yeah, we can go to live first.
Hey, I can do a bit of a run if you would like me to come find you in the library. That's fine.
That would be great. Thank you, Thran.
Kind of.
You really don't need.
No.
You really don't need to do that.
There's a protocol I kind of have to follow. I'm alright, okay. And he just kind of awkwardly begins to bimble off. You see, he places his hand into a section of the wall, and the stone moves.
Oh.
And he steps in, and as it closes, it's almost seamless. He's gone.
Yum.
I love it. We're earthbenders in this bitch.
Technology.
Technology!
We're not cavemen.
Okay. You're left to it.
Well-
Giant shadow of the world weaver.
Yeah, she's pretty.
She pretty.
This is a large stretch, Toby. I know this, but looking at the world weaver, since I asked the weave directly to connect me, do I feel anything looking at the world weaver?
I mean, she is the weave.
That's what I mean. Is it just like a?
That's a point. Does Kaiden feel anything?
Yeah.
The magic is different, but it's still,
It's different, but it's
Connection.
yeah. Both of you roll me a religion check.
Let's go, Kaiden.
Ooh, that's really good, actually.
Weave boys.
We boys.
Religion?
Mine's
Oh
2.
my god.
15.
25.
15 out of 25. Okay.
Plus
Kaiden,
8 to religion.
I mean, as you get a similar feeling to when you saw the statue in the Divine Sanctum. It's just kind of there's almost this tightness in your chest, like you're looking at someone in such reverence that it makes you a little bit breathless. You're like, oh fuck, it's almost like anxiety.
Does it feel less intense than the one that's at a religious temple? That's
Yeah,
made
a
to
lot
be a
less
strong
intense.
Okay.
It's just kind of like a oh shit. It's almost like you've got a teacher that you're looking up to who's
Yeah.
looking down at you for
But
something.
invoking the imagery of them kind of has an effect, essentially.
Yeah. Lyre.
Aye.
It's a strange sensation because you as somebody who has no reverence for the divine, you don't feel particularly like you're being watched in any capacity, but you feel as though you're being watched over.
Okay.
Like, they're not keeping an eye on you. They are. There was almost like that guiding sense of this person doesn't want anything bad for me, but I don't know what they want.
They acknowledge me in a sense.
You feel acknowledged.
Interesting.
Almost like a nod of the head kind of situation, like somebody's noticed you.
Little exclamation mark above their head.
You've been noticed, you've been perceived.
Before everyone kind of runs off to do their book things, just wait. We're going to be, I think, talking to the council at some point, and I think that's something maybe we should discuss what we want to cover before we just go and talk to people in power. I know we need to talk about what's going on with 𝘏𝘪𝘨 and their, I guess, creations. I would like to mention the current, I guess, events that are happening in Sihonos. I have my own concerns there as well.
Oh. I haven't thought about Sihonos in a while.
Well, isn't that stuff coming up, like spreading? It might come up here.
When we were in 𝘏𝘪𝘨, there was mention from a few clerics that I passed that the borders were closing. My assumption there is that it's less to keep people out and more to keep everything in. If it's spreading as quickly as it is, she kind of gestures to the city, with this much power and this much, I guess, hold in a certain place, this information may be valuable to them, and they may be able to help. I've been speaking to or writing letters to someone there, and it's not going well.
What's happening?
Sinza is going to pull out, it's like kind of folded into like a triangle, and she kind of gestures with the letter. A few weeks back I reached out to Ollie, and I didn't mention any names or anything or locations or anything like that. I just wanted to make sure that Sihonos was okay. And things aren't going well. And she jots the letter out to both Lyre and Kaiden.
I'll put a copy of the letter in Discord for you, so you can take a look at what Sinza was sent.
Okay. Kaiden, would you like me to read it aloud, Kaiden?
Maybe quietly.
Oh, yes, please.
You can go to the library if you'd like to read it, or you can read it here.
Is there anyone really around us at this current
No,
moment?
not at the moment, no. There's a few kind of benches. There's a few benches.
Dibs!
So you can take a seat and just kind of under the gaze of the 𝘏𝘪𝘨. There's like water, almost like a fountain almost behind you, so you can sit and just kind of read in peace.
Lyre will open the note and sort of like lean into Kaiden while he reads it and just say, Sinza, as someone who proved themselves as a capable ally, I am willing to impart this knowledge back to you as you have done for me, though my time for correspondence is short as the borders are closing soon. Sihonos is in disarray. I wouldn't be surprised if half the city falls to the sickness by now. The clan have become aware of my treachery, and I have been quite the prime target of their interests, but something has changed about them. They are faster, stronger, they look more dead. I don't really know how to describe it, given a lot of vampires look like corpses, but they at least look like pristine corpses. These thralls are in some state of decay. There's a shift in how they communicate and how they move, how they coordinate. I'm sorry I can't be clear with my descriptions of them. If I hear anything further of synthesis, I will endeavor to let you know. I have a feeling Mr. Lyre was right.
Sinza
Lyre
reaches.
was right. He'll hand
Sinza
back
reaches a hand out. She takes the letter from you and kind of puts it back where it was sitting and puts a hand just on Kaiden's shoulder very gently. When you, I guess, Lyre, filled us in on everything, all the theories, the papers that you found on synthesis, on Tilo, on the gods, the sequester gods.
the new
I think
species.
my fear is that they got what they wanted from Kaiden and that they've started working on this, I guess, improvement in undeath, on synthesis.
Well, there were a lot of those blood crystals from his wild magic. I actually took some to do some research when I have a chance.
The cages with the people that we found, where Kaiden was, they were different to the undead that we fought originally in the church. They were more violent, more, I guess, controlled and angry. I don't know firsthand how these creatures are acting now, but from what Ollie is saying, it sounds like it's only getting worse. If this breaks free of Sihonos, it could very quickly move into larger cities. Karvik really isn't that far away from Sihonos, neither is the Grove.
𝘞𝘰𝘮𝘦 is not far either. I spoke to my sister recently through magic. She mentioned 𝘞𝘰𝘮𝘦 wasn't safe right now. I selfishly assumed that might be to my defiance against Asus. But maybe a sickness is taking 𝘞𝘰𝘮𝘦.
Could you ask for further clarity from your sister? I don't want
can.
to make assumptions.
I can.
Mm-hmm.
I'd prefer to do that at the end of the day, just so I can utilize my magic to my best abilities right now.
Yeah. There's something that Landgrave mentioned as well when we
Lanyard,
were...
yes.
I don't want the same thing happening again that last time happened when we were having that conversation with him. He mentioned that there is a gate to the Underdark beneath Sihonos.
Mm-hmm.
This could spread further than we can even imagine, into planes of existence that we can't even imagine.
Not to mention the Lich.
The Lich is a... Yeah.
If there are vampires and a Lich working together, that's dangerous.
Well, we already put 2 and 2 together that Sanguine were involved with the vampires. They were helping to spread this disease through other areas of Sihonos.
Did they have a choice in that aspect, though? That we don't know.
Political drama or political ties is a tough one.
It is.
If they make some kind of agreement with the vampires, they used to deal in thralls at some point in the history of Sihonos, but...
That's a good point. But also being turned into one of those thralls doesn't really give you much of a choice anymore.
At the end of the day, I think it's all just to do with power.
Okay.
And having more of certain areas. I don't think this is just about Sihonos anymore.
Okay. So we need to talk about the White Wolf, obviously. We need to mention Sihonos and the state of that, since you have the most information on it, if you would like to lead the charge on that.
Yeah,
is there anything else we need to discuss? do we want to mention 𝘏𝘬 and what I have done?
That might
That's
be
up to
important
you.
to mention, but I don't know how you want to approach that.
I mean, honesty's always been kind of my thing.
Did we want to mention the dreams or visions that we've had?
That might be dangerous because
But what if
Aren't
there's people
you-
here that have had visions? We don't know if it's just us.
this is true, but aren't you one of the creatures in our dreams? Technically, Sinza?
I have theories on what or who she is.
Okay.
I don't know if it's me. I think it's the one that got a hold of me, but
But she's, and you'll sort of gesture towards your eyes. She's there.
eyes behind eyes. We'll get to that at some point. I have concerns about this. This is raising more flags for me. I'll work it out in time.
We still also have 2 figures we haven't encountered yet from that dream. And going off our track record. Oh, and the fact I'm being hunted. That's also a thing. Forgot about that. Because I pissed off an angel of a din.
I feel a bit safer here, to be honest. I feel like, I don't know if we're going to get jumped in the night, but after our new friend just mentioned about there being robberies.
It actually, it might be an idea while we're here for us to upgrade. I know you two love your weapons, and I respect that. But maybe an enchantment or a bit of work on them to make them hit a bit harder.
I don't have a whole lot of money on me, to be honest, Lyre. I don't know if I can afford something like that.
I've got a little bit. I can help out.
Kaiden, what's up?
Do we have as a group a world map? Like, do we have a physical map? Don't we? Oh,
I do.
Yeah.
I picked one up.
okay.
Yeah, alright.
Lyre, can I see the map you have?
Thunk.
Okay, and he's going to open it. Because we talked about the Underdark entrance in Sihonos, but there's also one in the green, and he's going to point where it is, because he's aware there is one in the green.
What?
What?
Oh, fuck.
He knows the dry green. Well, there's one there. There's also, like, a vampire clan north from the Conclave. Like, they never bothered us. They kept to themselves. Like, so it never, came up.
Since's eyes widen. She's
That
listening
border
to you
isn't going
talk.
to do anything if they could just go straight under and come back out where we are here.
Yeah, exactly.
So, Kaiden,
Fuck.
roll me
Yeah,
a
fuck.
history check at advantage, because you would probably know this, but we're going to see how much you know about this.
He knows it's there. He doesn't know the exact location. He just knows it's
Give
generally
Kaiden
north.
inspiration, someone. Inspire Kaiden.
I'm going to need it. I rolled a 3 and a 2.
Hey, you got
Oh,
advantage.
fuck.
You got this. You got. Wow, just
Ooh.
then?
Yeah.
That was his advantage.
Oh,
That
God.
was
That's
his
my advantage. So, and my history's a -2, so, that's a
Oh.
1 for advantage.
It's
I don't
a
have
1 or a
inspiration.
0.
It's a 1 because it was 3 and a 2.
It's in
With
that
advantage.
region. It covers the entire
Odie,
map.
Odie has the inspiration, but if he doesn't want to use it, he doesn't have to.
Selfishly, I need it for this session. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
it's fine.
So yeah, Kaiden, you know that one of the entrances is somewhere around here.
I haven't seen
you
it in a
know-
long time, so
You know, one of
noticed
the
that.
entrances is somewhere around here.
Oh my
There's
god.
And you know, one of the other entrances is somewhere around here.
I will circle these
Oh.
areas. I'm like, oh yeah,
So
there's one
this
close
thing
to
could
us as well.
This
so-
thing could literally spread in fucking minutes.
Wait, if there's issues in the city, I mean, this is a sealed off city. Could it get in?
Yeah, this one
If it gets
is.
swarmed, though.
Do you
As
think
far
this
as
You
we
has to do with
recall,
the problems
Kaiden,
we've
you
been
recall
having?
being told there was attacks on the city at some point about 100 years ago, maybe a little bit longer now, that where people managed to get in and it was vampires.
Oh, what?
Great! This is.
Fuck! Oh,
So-
God!
The vampires can get in.
Wee-woo! Wee-woo!
Oh no.
Oh, my God.
I want to die. My god, this sucks.
Shit.
This is great, Toby. I love this game, by the way. Thank
I've
you.
noticed a trend
Yeah.
anytime the party, especially when Lyre's like, you know what, I feel safe here right now, and Kaiden's like,
Actually, I have some more information.
Actually,
I didn't say that. Sinza said it.
anytime someone says it or mentions it, it's a jinx.
I feel safe. No, you
But then
don't.
it has happened with Lyre a lot, and then Sinza says that, it's like, actually.
Since he kind of reaches out and just like holds Kaiden's shoulders. I don't know a lot about. Would you call it like planar travel through gateways and things like that? Is that what you'd call it?
I don't know.
If there's
like
other
a door?
gates, basically, if there's other gates, could this thing travel through other gates to get to these other places? Is what I'm asking.
Probably. I mean,
So them closing
last
the
I
borders
remember,
to
it's just like a
Sihonos means
giant
nothing.
pit in the ground. One I've seen.
Sinza, roll me a history check, please.
Oh no! Don't fuck it up, please.
I'm gonna eat all of y'all. Oh, it's good. History. What's my fucking history? 18.
Oh, with an 18. You recall when you were traveling through the sewers in Sihonos, finding that room with the broken teleportation circle, and it's starting to click that it probably wasn't broken by the vampires. It was probably broken to stop them getting out, because they would be able to travel to any teleportation circle on Sith with that.
Sinza relays
The
that to
Dias
Party.
are playing a very dangerous game, having a teleportation circle right under the city.
Sinza relays all of that to the party. I need to write back to Ollie.
Lyre opens his book and turns to the page where he's been figuring out that teleportation circle.
You still have your notes on what was written on it.
Remind me?
All you managed to get from it, because it was broken, was
Yes.
deep travel far in the something, connecting the something surface and under the earth. They're written in your player journal if you need it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
God. Fuck. How do I get to my
You
journal
also
again?
recall with an 18, Heliodor mentioning there was something about a teleportation circle here in the city.
We need to tell needs to know. This is all gonna go to shit very quickly.
Good. Wait, Lyre, do you know how to make a teleportation circle?
Not yet. I'm working on it. I'm very close, though.
Could we use one as a trap further down the line?
It would have to be very well thought out. To make a teleportation circle permanent takes a long time and a lot of magic. And then only those who have that sigil or know it can teleport to it. So,
Effectively, Lyre would need to see it and note it down in order to be able to teleport you guys to it.
so to trap someone or to get someone to come to us, it would have to be a very elaborate plan of, oops, I dropped my teleportation circle. And then it...
Oh, okay.
In theory, if that was something that we wanted to do, though, if there's multiple of these teleportation circles around, we'd have to destroy them all to center them to one. as well,
Yes.
unless we trap all of them. But
Well, the thing, okay, to play devil's advocate here, if we gain trust of cities or whatnot, or whatever the fuck we plan to do here, because this sounds like we're trying to rally to fix everything, if we get access to the teleportation circles and you help me get stronger, I can zip zap zoopity bop us all over this fucking continent. I just need to see the sigils, and they need to be there.
it's also
Not
gaining the
destroyed.
trust of these people. This is
I don't think
I'm
they're
trustworthy.
gonna
very
break
political.
their circle, but we might be able to convince them to like reinforce it, maybe guard it.
That's not a bad idea. Kaiden, your fam, because I know druidic magic is rather powerful and can tap into other aspects. Your family doesn't have a teleportation circle in their grove, do they?
No, there is no
Not one that I'm
teleportation
aware of,
circles
no.
in the grove.
Okay, good.
We don't really need one. I mean, I've seen Dad walk through trees and pop out of other trees before.
I'm
But-
sorry, what?
Well, he just kind of walks in one tree and then comes out of another tree if we want to travel.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Magic's pretty
okay.
crazy, Sinza. You should try it.
I'm sick of just bending blood.
Ah, yes. Tree striding druids. Don't worry about it. Like, that's just fucking normal. It's just like, and the Sinza's like, oh.
I'm sorry.
Well,
Okay.
It's better than a teleportation circle because there's a lot more trees.
That's true. Okay, game plan. We wait for, what's his name? Thran to come back to us. In the meantime, yeah, research, I guess, light reading.
Yes.
I'm gonna write a letter to Ollie.
So I have 15 platinum and 300 gold. So if you need help upgrading your weapons and enchanting them, I will help where I can. I do hope to grab a couple of spell scrolls, at
Yeah.
least. But
Mhm.
I can also sell my old armor. It's not much, but it's something.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Maybe go scout for a little bit. I can message you if needed, or we can just meet back here in an hour, we'll say.
There's something I want to check in the library.
Okay.
But I'll be around, so just come grab me.
Yep. Kaiden, what do you want to do for an hour? I'm actually going to try and do research on your dad or his location. If you would like to join me.
Yeah, I'd like to figure that out.
Okay.
I don't know what we're going to find in the library about him, but...
Not specifically about him, but legends and lore on the borderlands and of any sightings of hags or powerful beings in said area. That might help us pinpoint a bit better.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys heading over to the library.
Yeah.
Okay.
Give me the books.
As you guys make your way over, this building is stunning. Like, it has been carved out of the stone of the walls, the floor. This has not been built on top of it. It has been built into it. And it is a gorgeous kind of pillared building as you make your way in. And the first thing you see is a metal person stood in the doorway. They are made of this kind of very polished, almost like brass-like metal, with holes in the torso that show kind of gaps into their inner mechanism. Their face is not featureless, but lacking in movement when they speak. Kind of bald head, human. It looks like they were built off of a human as a model. No ears, kind of these flat features, but beautifully intricate from head to toe. And they kind of tilt their head as you walk in. Welcome to the Library of the Deep Stone. I hope you enjoy your stay.
Thank you.
They repeat the line again in Dwarvish. Since
Do they look like a similar make to Ymir's Domhan? Or
you
very
wouldn't know what
different?
Ymir's Domhan looked like.
From the armor that she wears, anything similar?
Very different to her
Okay.
armor.
Okay.
Her armor looks like it's blackened metal.
Okay.
And is a little bit dented. She's been working on it, making it a bit more presentable. But in terms of like the patterning on it, and the shape and how it's kind of been built, very, very different.
Ymir's armor also had a soul jammed into it, but you know.
Yeah, don't worry about that part.
That's still so crazy to me, dude. What the fuck? Alright.
She's got a mech suit, bro. They kind of bow their head to you as you walk in. There's almost like this gentle kind of click, 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 click as they move. Because it's not quite fine movement, but it is fine enough. It's almost got an uncanny valley to it.
Cute.
As they are kind of stood there. And they turn their head away from you as you make your way in. It seems that they're kind of on the door greeting people. The library itself is huge and quiet for the most part, tinted in this almost green hue, with almost like Gothic architecture in here, which is a bit of a change to the rest of the Art Deco heavy kind of geometric shapes that you're seeing in a lot of the dwarven architecture outside. But these walls of books are easily maybe 60 feet tall, with ladders that climb up. And it is just pillars and pillars and pillars of books. There's a handful more of these metal figures walking around and placing books back and kind of sweeping up tables and gently talking to some of the patrons. There's one you see sat with what you would assume to be a dwarven child in the corner, and like talking to them as this kid's writing something down. You can quietly hear them kind of explaining something that they've read in a book that maybe the kid didn't quite understand.
That's cool.
So almost like a tutor, you'd assume. But it's generally quite quiet, as it is a library, and people are getting on with their study and whatnot.
Okay. Is there like a front desk or anything I can walk up to?
Doesn't look like it, no.
Can I walk over to one of these mechanical people?
Yeah. They are almost identical to the person on the door. So they kind of turn their head. Can I help you?
Hi. This is our first time here. I want to double check any rules to make sure I don't take too many books or anything like that. What do you have a policy here of when it comes to learning and researching from your archive?
Please do not take any books outside of the library grounds.
Yes.
If you would like any help acquiring a book, please allow me and some of my colleagues to help you.
Okay.
Other
Perfect.
than that, the books are free reign. Please help yourself. Enjoy your time.
I do have a couple of books. I need as many books as you can find on the topics for me. If you could help me find some.
Of course.
Okay, I have two categories that I need to track down. So, first of all, I need information on the Borderlands, specifically hag and witch-like legends and lore or sightings in recent years.
They kind of almost like look a little bit past you, and you watch as their eyes that don't have any kind of features to them, they're just kind of this flat metal, begin to like look back and
Nice.
forth very, very quickly.
That's so cool.
And there's this kind of ticking noise as they are thinking. I can acquire a book with this sort of information for you.
That I would definitely take that book. And the second category, and this is more personal to me, I need any and all information you have on ascension in this world. How the gods ascended, if anyone after the gods have ascended, and if it is, and how it is possible.
Again, there's that movement of the eyes as they are kind of tilting their head to the side. Yes, I can acquire that book for you.
Perfect. That's everything I need. Kaiden, is there anything specific you want?
I think we already covered it with the hag.
Okay. Actually, do you have a name? I'm sorry.
I am 62.
62. Do you have any books on studying wild magic?
There's a tilt of the head again, and that eye flickering. Wild magic is not well documented.
If you have anything, that would be greatly appreciated.
I will see what I can find.
Thank you. Sinza, anything for you?
Do you have any books on the ring and the government bodies that reside on the ring?
You notice as they kind of tilt their head, it's much shorter period of time before they turn back to you. Yes, I can acquire that book for you.
You have a cat in this library. I got him. You do your thing, Sinza.
Okay, thank you, darling.
Yeah, there you go. There's another one.
Also, any information that mentions the words the Everdark as well.
Again, they tilt their head and their eyes flick back and forth very, very quickly. For a moment, they take quite some time while they're going through it. There is no information documented on the Everdark. If it is something you would like to donate to the library, we'd be willing to take it.
I wish I could offer that. Just the book on the ring then would be great.
Of course. And as they kind of tilt away from you, they take a couple of steps before they raise one of their hands. And if you'd like to make me an Arcana check, you're welcome to. Kaiden's just experiencing it. Like, Kaiden's just like, well...
Looking around. I don't know
20.
what any of this is.
I don't know how to read.
Double nat 20s? You're
I can't hear you, Eddie.
I also got a natural 20 for a total of 28.
2 nat 20s.
Oh
Fucking hell. Okay, as the two of you are watching as this figure, this Mechanicus anima, as was described by 𝘞𝘪𝘀, raises their hand, almost a spectral copy of their hand raises from theirs and floats off up towards this sort of a few sections of the library. And they follow it around, and you watch them kind of moving their hand as if they are puppeteering it. Stop it. The cats are out here causing fucking problems today. You see them kind of, like, they are stood on the ground floor, not even facing the books, and they reach out and grab something. And you watch as this mage hand moves forward and grabs one of the books off of near top shelf, takes it down and places it in the mechanic's hands. And they do this a few times until they have a short stack of books kind of in their arms, and they turn back to you. If you require anything else, please come and speak to me or one of my colleagues.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Place the books in your arms.
Have a nice day.
You too, sir.
I run to a table.
So Lyre.
You bimble off to find a table to sit down. Who's starting? Where are we starting?
Since gonna write her letters first, as she kind of stacks the book, I will put them in my whispers for you.
Okay.
But yeah, then she kind of looks over the book on the ring, and she just kind of flicks through it. She's looking for information specifically on the White Wolf and the what was it called? his like an army.
Pack.
His pack.
The pack, yeah.
Okay. I will. This should show up on your screen.
Oh.
So that should be a book for you to have a read.
Mm-hmm.
As you have a mooch. I will leave you to read. Odie, what book are you starting with?
So I've got the Ascension book. I've got the Fae and Lore Legends of the Borderlands. Did I get anything on wild magic at all?
You got a book on magic.
Okay.
That is the closest they could find in terms of information about wild magic, as it is, as they said, not well documented.
Okay. I'm going to put the Ascension book and the wild magic book to the side first, and I'm going to slide the Legends and Lore on the Borderlands and hags and whatnot in front of us. Me on my end, I'm looking for anything in recent years of hag sightings or hag territory.
Is Kaiden helping you with this?
Yes.
He's
Is there anything-
so
Roll me an
reading. He can
investigation
read
at
anything
advantage.
at all most of the time.
Kaiden's looking at pictures. Kaiden's going like, that
Oh.
looks relevant. You know, he's helping.
Yeah, if he could, because he had a vision of where his father was. If he sees anything in that book that helps,
Lines up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Investigation, you said?
Yes. At advantage because you are getting helped. TM.
My boy, Kaiden. Okay, that's a 16 plus, where's my investigator? Plus 5, so 21.
That's fucking hell, okay. Since you're reading through it, the first thing that you read is that the Borderlands / the Wildlands is home to the Court of Chaos, which is a court of Fae, specifically the Archfey Aegis of the Wildlands, which is Aegis. Aegis is the embodiment of destruction, renewal, and the wilds. So they are very kind of natural-born Fae. They are the guardian of the wildlands, protecting nature from the unforgiving unnatural industrial landscape that is spreading like a wildfire across Sith. They're quite reclusive and very protective of their lands, having shrouded almost the entirety of the Borderlands and the Wildlands in this mist that when people enter, they cannot leave. Unless they have permission from Aegis themselves. They live in the secluded magic imbued wildlands with their followers, which is a large druidic circle that are kind of a part of their get-up, effectively. It is said that druid circle is so powerful it could turn back the tide of the Industrial Revolution itself. And they could let nature reclaim everything that they have taken from them. The previous archfey of these lands was known as Vita. Vita 𝘞𝘭𝘏𝘬𝘧𝘐, who was also referred to as the Prophet of Tilo, who tried to restart the world in a reconstruction about 100 years ago. For about 30 years, the Wildlands had no Fae. And it was a fucking chaotic mess because there was nothing to control wild magic. When Aegis came into existence, because there was no successor to Vita, as Fae, it's kind of a line of succession sort of thing. When Aegis was created by the gods as a replacement, they were created as almost a blank slate to prevent what had happened with Vita and her Fae, her predecessor, Tarlo, to prevent them from turning into them again and trying to turn back as I said, the kind of the Industrial Revolution that has happened on Sith in the past century or so.
Okay.
In terms of hags, they're not uncommon in the Wildlands. They're favoured by Aegis because they protect the land. They often, if they use something from the land, they give it back. They are often druids got broke.
Okay.
It's not the only hag that is documented, but there's no details, but there are a few dotted through the Wildlands itself. It wouldn't be surprising if they've branched out into the Borderlands in recent years. But it does state that there was one at some point in the Drowned Green.
There was a hag in the Drowy Green.
Yes.
Kaiden,
Yeah.
hag in the Drowy Green.
Does Kaiden know anything about this?
Roll me a history check.
I don't even know if it's during his lifetime or not. Okay. Oh, it's -2. So yeah, that's 14.
You remember your mother telling you horror stories almost as a child of somebody known as the Mother, who was a druid who had excommunicated herself to become a hag somewhere in the Drowy Green, and she'd abduct children in the night and turn them into hags or turn them into creatures of hag. She was not the kind of hag that could mentally possess, as that seems to be quite a common trait of hags, that they're able to persuade in a very specific way. But this hag would just abduct people and turn them into creatures, beasts mostly. That then she knew that the druids or hunters would hunt their own children.
What a monster. That's badass.
You think of it as being a bit of a fairy tale, but now you're looking at it, maybe it wasn't.
Yeah, but we don't
Oh,
know.
gosh, is it?
Hey, Kaiden doesn't know what conclave or group of druids they would have come from. It's
Yeah,
just
you're not
somewhere.
sure where she came from.
I just know it's not from the Numa conclave, essentially.
Yeah, she wasn't from the Numa conclave.
Not from the Numa conclave.
But she was in the Drowy Green at one stage.
She was at one point in the Dry Green. Hags do not always stay to one territory. Sometimes they move. She would have have to have had good reason to move.
Maybe your father was the reason?
I mean, I always thought it was just like a scary bedtime story.
Well, I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't know how fucked up this world was until I left my city. So anything's possible, really. I
didn't know how fucked up cities were until I went to Sihonos.
Me too. With learning together. But what if this hag took your father with her? Maybe your father was this hag's biggest threat. She somehow overcame him and took him almost. Because if there was. Because can you imagine if your greatest rival had maybe a son who was a big burly boar man who could be just as strong, if not stronger, than his father, and then learned that his father is still out there? Are you picking up what I'm putting down?
I mean, are you saying this is like a trap that's been happening over years?
I don't know if it's a trap. I'm saying she might have taken precaution. This is all hypothetical. I don't know the answers for sure. But if this mother was in the Drowy Green and was taking children, maybe some children were taken from your conclave, and your father learned of it.
Well, there's been less children in the new conclave.
Yeah, Kaylee, you remember the last time you were there, they were talking about children going missing.
Okay.
And he can tree walk.
He can tree walk. Maybe she used him to get away.
And probably take children as well.
But this is a lead. This is something we can go off. Maybe she took your father as a prize or a warning for anyone who else would chase her. But we know she's in the borderlands.
With that, we're going to take a quick break. So we will be back in 10-15 minutes.
Yeah, we're gonna find your daddy.
Right. We're getting straight back into it. So, you and Kaiden have been discussing what to do about this hag situation. That is all the information that you're able to get. It's non-specific in terms of about the hags themselves, but it does detail about what hags are capable of doing. Which, is unpleasant. Kaiden, as you're kind of remembering the vision you had with Ymir of your father, the more it kind of talks about being able to possess or take the mind of creatures within its territory, the more you're kind of clicking that that's kind of what was happening to your father when you saw him.
Would your mother know anything? Maybe stuff she hasn't told you.
Maybe. I mean, I could see if I can get in contact and ask.
It might be an idea. I can also contact them, though I am limited.
Yeah. Well, if you've got like a postal point, because I don't have one, I lost one, but
I can talk to them through magic.
Oh, okay.
It's also very likely that someone in this city is selling sending chalk.
That too. If only we had money.
If you could forward, maybe if you could forward some basic information we found out to her for me.
I can do that.
Keep it simple and see what she says.
Yeah. But this is something.
Oh yeah, Kaiden, you do have sending chalk. Your mother gave you a stick.
It says chalk.
Yeah, I didn't realise that you hadn't put it down that it was specifically that, so I will give you a copy of the sending chalk.
Yeah.
So yeah, if I can send a magic thing. Kaiden, what's that on your belt?
Oh, that's a piece of chalk.
Kaiden?
It's a rock, so he's collecting it.
Yeah.
See how it's got runes on it?
Who has?
Oh.
I didn't notice that.
That is
sorry I didn't have.
That is sending chalk. So you could send a message to your mother or your sister or whoever you want to talk to. You only get 25 words. So write down what you want to say first. The magic is limited.
I don't know how much that is. How many times does sending chalk work?
Depends on how much chalk you have.
Do I have to write it with the chalk?
I'd assume so.
Okay.
How many... does Kaiden know how many charges he has with his sending chalk?
Sending chalk, generally, I'd say that Lyre knows this, given the sort of work that you do. Usually most arcane chalk only has 3 uses, and it is consumed upon use.
Okay. So you have 3 sendings, basically. So you have a total of 75 words. And they will respond after every 25 words with 25 of their own. You will hear them in your mind. So have a think.
He'll have a think for a while, and he'll use the sending chalk. It's 25, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
25 words on each cast.
Oh boy.
Hey, Mom. Hope you're well. Difficult. This is difficult. Had a vision of Dad looked possessed by hag? Question mark. Do you know anything about the mother? Running out words.
I love you so much, Dex. You're amazing.
So, Kaiden, you find a good spot on the floor to draw out this rune. As you are kind of like scrawling it out on the floor, it's not a particularly difficult rune, and you're effectively copying what is inscribed on the side of the chalk. So it's relatively easy. It's a bit wonky, but it seems to work as it lights up and you begin to talk. And there's maybe about 5-10 seconds before you hear your mother's voice. You hear Sorsha. Kaiden, my son, it is good to hear from you. I think you are mistaken. Your father is dead. I will see what information there is. And the line goes dark.
Well, she said she'd look into it, but she thinks I'm mistaken about him being alive. So.
Dex.
Mm-hmm.
What am I reading on Kaiden right now? Like, emotion-wise, after being told he's mistaken.
There's a mix of doubt and concern. I think at the moment there's a lot going on, so he feels a little overwhelmed. Because it's not just that. There's like the problem with the vampires and getting past the borders. There's so many different issues that you probably noticed even while being in the city, he just feels very conflicted and not knowing which direction to go in, at the moment, because there's so many.
Is he still like kneeling on the ground looking at the rune?
Yeah.
Lyre will get down on a knee and like wrap his arm behind Kaiden's head and touch his head to his and just say, "You saw your father.
Yeah.
Don't let doubt take you. Let it fuel you and get hungry. We're gonna find your dad and we're gonna figure this all out. One at a time."
Yeah.
Lyre's gonna reach into his bag and he's gonna pull out two little beads that just look like made of random material. And he grabs Kaiden's wrist and puts them into his hands. I fiddle with these when I'm overwhelmed. Just sort of spin them in your hand a little bit. Focus on them and count to 10. And breathe slow. Everything calms down a little bit.
Thank you. You're a really good friend.
So are you. We're gonna figure it out. We'll find your dad.
I have added this as a quest to your quest log now, so you can keep tabs on what you're doing.
Lyre will pause for a minute and be like, okay, I need to study how to become a god. Give me a moment. And he'll jump back up at the table and grab his book, but I'll chill for a little bit and let someone else take a turn.
Alright, so, Ymir, you've been awfully quiet. What are you doing?
Man, don't put me on the spot like that. I don't know. I think Ymir's just really just looking. Well, not necessarily looking around. I think she's just like her ear. You ever get like? So her only thing is sight. Her hearing, not sight. So I can only imagine all the loud sounds. I think she's having like a sensory overload at this point. She's just sort of like, wow, it's really crowded up in here. This is crazy. Who's that chalk? I want to eat that chalk. Oh, is there stores? I'm gonna go to the store over here. I wonder if they have curry. That's like Ymir right now. I think Ymir's just because everyone seems like they're focused in on the skull, and so is Ymir. But also Ymir's been through a lot, so she's just chilling. I don't think there's anything that Ymir really. Is there curry around?
Is that what, sorry?
Is there curry around?
You're in
Toby?
a library, so currently no.
Fuck! Damn it!
Kaiden did have some stew on the way in, though.
I did have some stew. Kaiden's going to end up bimbling off, so she might see Kaiden bimble off out of the library.
Hold on. Before she does that, where's the librarian?
There's quite a few of them. There's about 4 or 5 kind of making their way around in different areas of the library, but there is somebody stood on the door. One of them is stood on the door.
Ymir is writing a book herself. So she's gonna note. No, Toby.
Not the fan fiction.
No. This is not fan fiction. This is art.
Yeah.
So, Toby, Ymir is going to find the nearest librarian. And I'm going to see if it's a door person.
If you're going to the one at the door, they are the door person. The nearest
Can I
one
roll
is
a see if there's...
one of the other librarians that is bimbling around.
I want to find out the nearest librarian. So whoever it is, I don't mind.
Okay. Yeah, you see one of them is kind of organizing a few of the shelves, and they turn as you approach them.
Hello. This is me. I don't mean to be... I'm sorry. Hello. Excuse me. I don't mean to be a bother. But this place has a lot of knowledge, right? Like all sorts of knowledge.
Indeed.
Is it just general knowledge, or is there the other stuff?
Is there something you are looking for specifically?
Smut.
They turn their head, and you watch as their eyes kind of flick back and forth very, very quickly. I can acquire a book for you on this matter if you'd like.
Vampire smut.
Again, they turn their head away, and there's that flickering again. I can acquire a book on this for you if you would like.
Vampire smut x werewolf smut.
And they turn their head again. There is nothing of that nature within this library. But if you would like to donate, we are most willing to take it.
So there's no vampire stuff at all?
There are some of the stipulated books that you've asked for. I can require them for you if you'd like.
Sure. She's going to take 1 gold piece and hand him a gold piece.
You need not pay me for my services.
Fuck. Okay. I will donate when I see the goods.
And they turn away, and as they kind of raise a hand, a spectral copy of their hand floats out of it, and it moves down a few kind of shelves and down a kind of a corridor almost. And you watch them kind of move their hand as if they're grabbing something before the the hand returns with a single book. It's quite small, and looks as though the cover has been redone recently. And they pass it over to you.
Thank you.
It's called 100 Shades of Not Quite Grey. And you open it up, and the first thing you read is, oh my god, it's spicy.
This is exactly this is exactly what I need. Thank you very much.
Can't take it out of
This
the
is going to
library.
really.
Gotta read it here, babe, if you're gonna read it.
Shit. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
I'm glad I could be of service. You take the book and bimble away.
Yeah, it's going to bimble away. And I think that's what Ymir is going to do. Just so I can figure out what everyone else has got going on. This is my strategy, but I'm also reading smut.
Okay. So
This is going to be Ymir the entire time. Just be like,
Lyre is neck deep in reading about the gods and ascension and that sort of thing. Kaiden, you've left the library. Where are you going?
You're muted, buddy.
love.
So it's because Apollo's been like that. He is kind of bimbled out by himself because he's looking for suspicious people because he wants that fucking rock. So he's gonna go around town looking for anyone suspicious.
Roll me a perception check.
Kaiden's gonna get kicked out of the fucking city. Like, Kaiden's gonna look suspicious.
What do you mean? He blends right in. He has his cloak.
Go, Boorman.
He's going incognito. He does not know that word. That's a 13.
13. Okay. So as you're making your way around, I mean, you're not seeing anyone suspicious per se. You're kind of like awkwardly making your way through. You are this 6-foot-something tank in a city of dwarves. So you kind of stand out, buddy. Something you do notice is a poster. You notice a poster it's kind of done up on one of the walls. With it's not got a name on it, but it does say wanted. And there is a handful of kind of portraits on it, all of which are humanoid for the most part, aside from one of them that seems to be almost like a rabbit Elenian. So they're all kind of like either like dwarf or human. Not dwarf, sorry, elven or human. And then there is this Elenian. There's 4 of them in total. And it says wanted for grand theft.
What theft?
Reward. Grand theft. There is a reward at the bottom. And the reward is 5,000 gold pieces.
I've found my suspicious person, and he's gonna take that wanted poster.
Okay. Alright, so you take the poster off of the wall, just kind of looking it over. Grand Theft Carto, yes, we're doing that. Is that all over again? God damn it.
Asks for a fucking rock instead.
He's
Looked at the camera.
It's just like, please, no, we need that money.
But I can't buy the rock, so the rock is more valuable, right? That's how it works.
What if we put the rock into migraine? How does that sound?
That'd be cool. Yeah.
At the bottom of the poster, it reads, please speak to a member of the Amaranthine Guard if you see anyone suspicious.
Duran, where are you?
Thron is like nowhere to be seen. He still hasn't come out. You're just yelling this fucking dwarf's name in the middle of the
Walking
street.
back to the hair of Thrawn.
As you make your way back over, Thron isn't there. But you are kind of now just stood in front of the 𝘏𝘪𝘧𝘵 waiting this poster.
He'll go back and see what people do in the library to show. Who's going to be motivated? Probably Lyre.
You are once again greeted as you walk in. Welcome to the Library of the Deep Stone. I hope you enjoy your stay.
Thank you. He looks good. He's thinking, and he's gonna bimble off and like, all right, where's? How do I navigate through this library? Because he doesn't know where Lyre is.
I mean, you can see the blue yuan-ti across the room.
Okay, it's
like
pretty
that.
open.
It's
then.
hard to
Right,
miss.
I'm gonna go
Yeah.
over there.
Hey, Lyre. You know that? Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your reading. I can't hear you, Odie.
What?
So you know how Thrawn said there was suspicious people, and we might get something if we earn trust. Not necessarily a rock, but I did find this, and he's going to show the poster.
When did you go out and get that?
Well, I went out looking for suspicious people.
When? How long has it? What?
You've been here a while.
Oh,
I'm good. I accidentally bapped my camera.
you're fine.
Sorry.
It's the smart. It's the smart. Yeah.
It's the smart.
Yeah. Bapped the camera.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you find this person? Did you see them?
Well, no. It said to speak to a guard, but I didn't see any, and I couldn't find Thrawn. So I thought I'd come back and see what you thought.
It says, if you see this person,
Yeah.
speak to a guard.
I thought maybe we'd keep an eye out.
We absolutely can. For 5k, absolutely.
Yes, 5k.
Or are you going to ask for the stone?
No. I really want that stone. Look,
I
you
know.
can't buy the stones, so doesn't
I
that
know.
mean it's more valuable?
We can try. If they can offer you the stone, we will take the stone.
We could try and get money and the stone, maybe?
We can give it a go. We do need money.
We need money.
We need to.
Well,
we
you
need
never
to make you and Sinza a bit stronger when hitting. You hit strong. Don't get me wrong. You're very powerful. But if there are beasts out there with resistance to basic weaponry, we need to make sure you two are well equipped.
Yeah. So stuff like arsehole. Yeah.
What is Asshole? Do you know what he is?
Well, kind of.
What does he look like?
Toby, just to confirm, if you have nailed down what you're doing with that.
Wait,
'Cause I know you
Toby
changed
doesn't
it a
even
few
know?
times.
Oh my god.
Oh no, I know.
talked a few times.
Oh, I know.
I just want to confirm, that's nailed down, that's 100%.
Yeah, that's nailed down.
It's okay, it is the thing beginning with A then.
Yes.
Right, so it's this very large thing, and it has like a lot of tentacles.
Oh, it's an avalanche.
Ah, gal.
Lots of really sharp teeth.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, so like we've fought it a few times, and like
Okay.
pretty nasty.
Okay.
If it helps at all to visualize it, think like an aboleth with legs. This thing is both aquatic and on land.
Great.
Oh no!
If you've ever played Monster Hunter, have you ever seen a 𝘏𝘰𝘬𝘭𝘏? It's very similar to a 𝘏𝘏𝘏𝘏.
I don't like that gif.
No.
I don't like that specific fucking turnaround.
Why would you do such a thing? Ew. Ew! What? Why is it looking at me like
Wow.
that? What the fuck? Okay.
I mean,
It's
it doesn't
got
have
like a
eyes,
really
so
rubbery-ish kind of
Next question.
hide.
it looks like it looks like a
Jade.
skinned penis. It's very unpleasant.
Okay. Okay.
What? I miss.
Jay made a comment. Look.
Jade made a comment.
Okay. Good to know. But yes, sorry. We will keep an eye out for this rabbit. Is it a Alarian rabbit folk? Is that what it is? Sorry, Toby.
Yes,
Okay.
they would have been a rabbit folk that you'd expect that if you saw them, they'd be very hard not to see them.
So they're
considering-
sneaky as fuck. Got it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we'll keep an eye out. Sure.
Okay.
Anything else?
No, I'm kind of not sure what to do with the town, so
I've got this, and I'll slide over the wild magic book. It might
Ooh.
have something in there with
Is that
wild
pictures?
magic, or
I'll open up the book.
I'm sure there is. There's some. There might be runes that you could study.
Okay.
Might tap
yeah,
into
I think-
the sigils that you've made with your dancing.
Okay.
I think he'll spend some time going over it and occasionally nudge Lyre to ask questions and chat here and there. And then there's a bit of like silent time and then back and forth, just kind of relaxing.
Every time,
I think-
every time you're like Lyre, he's like, ah. Like-
Yeah. I think at one point he'll kind of been off, maybe go get some food or something, like food and drink for Lyre, because he knows he gets very focused and he probably hasn't eaten or drunk anything, and brings it back.
Lyre, as you're reading through this book on the gods, you notice something of great interest to you. One of the children of Sam, the god of death, 𝘞𝘦𝘭𝘥, was once a mortal.
Really?
They are the only known god that was once mortal, and they pick shepherds to be their successors.
Entum, was it?
𝘞𝘭𝘏, ENTUM. 𝘞𝘏𝘏 acts as the visage of death. They are known by everyone, but hailed by very few. They're kind of a cloaked concierge of Sam, between the realms, guiding souls to their eternal rest, and seeking those who would wish to mediate or meddle in the balance of nature and put a stop to such tampering.
You mean kind of like what I did?
Perhaps. Something that you equate over the two books that you have been reading is that the Fae of the Wildlands, Aegis, is a child of Sam as well. Sam is the goddess or god of mortality.
Okay. Does it mention? So, 𝘞𝘏𝘏 was chosen to take the place,
Yes.
which is very similar.
And they then pick people to be their shepherds. Living people. Usually death clerics.
Right.
Who are their shepherds who kind of do their work on the mortal plane until those spirits are ready to be taken by 𝘞𝘏𝘏 to a din or a case, depending on whether they're supposed to be going.
So that kind of confirms the prophecy in 𝘞𝘏𝘏𝘏 is a possibility. Is Asus the first?
The first of what?
Being, because I know he's currently one of the seven, but was Asus chosen?
Asus was created by the World Weaver.
Okay, so he was one of the first. Okay. But someone can
It's
take
the
his
children
place.
of the seven that are more like deities than gods.
Yeah.
Like sub-gods, effectively. They've got more specific realms of interest.
Got you.
But Entum was picked by Sam, who was, at the time, immortal, because they wanted somebody who'd experienced life to be the purveyor of death.
Interesting. And no one else has been able to ascend to a deity or anything that is noted.
That is known, no. Entum is the only one that is documented.
I need to talk to Entum. Children of Sam. Entum was once immortal, and he shepherds people from.
Yes. They don't necessarily do the killing part, but they will be there when the spirit departs.
Is there
if
any?
They don't stay in Saemyth for a long time, which is where Azimuth's seen to.
Is there any note on what's what I'm kind of looking for right now? I don't know what I'm trying to think of right now. Sorry, I'll come back to it. Lyre's gonna have to think about it.
Sinza, what are you up to?
There is a little other book that I would like to have a look at, if that's okay.
Yeah, what were you looking for?
I want to grab a book on 𝘏𝘬𝘭𝘥. I'm specifically looking for information. What was her name? Vela mentioned when they were in the grove that he'd had part of his memory wiped at some point by an item or something. So she wants to find some information about that if possible.
Okay. So you're reading it up. You find a book on gods and their champions. And you kind of scrub through and find a section dedicated to 𝘏𝘬𝘭𝘥. And there is a line of champions that are listed. Almost all of them are hunters, rangers in some capacity. As 𝘏𝘬𝘭𝘥 is the god of the hunt, it would only make sense. There is a large number of them over time that have been werewolves. Natural-born hunters. And 𝘏𝘬𝘭𝘥 favors wolves. That's part of their kind of thing. The last known champion, who apparently died maybe about 75 years ago now, has not been replaced. 𝘏𝘬𝘭𝘥 has not picked a new champion yet. But they were a spider Elanian that, as you're kind of looking at it, you're looking at the depictions of this figure. You remember seeing a statue of them on the mountain as you moved up to go and talk to 𝘞𝘰𝘮𝘭𝘥, who's wielding a bow made of stars. And it depicts some things about their life, that they at one point were possessed almost by an artifact of the First Era that was used with the creation of the world. One of the keys imbued into one of the three titans that helped to create Sith under the 𝘍𝘥𝘆𝑚𝑒𝑟's gaze. And that key was able to turn projections of somebody's wants into illusions that were so realistic you couldn't tell the difference between them being there or not. This book details that he had always wanted a family. Therefore, the key created a family for him. And it modified his memory to believe that he had never had anything but his family, and therefore forgot his duty. And he was severed from 𝘏𝘬𝘭𝘥 up until he was taken, like this key was taken off him, and he was unattuned to it. His family disappeared because they were not real, and he was brought back onto the straight and narrow of his path as the champion of Zoa, but at great cost. It stipulates up until the end of his life, he never remarried.
Oh, tragedy. Yeah.
As you're kind of looking in it, you notice like a section that has been handwritten on the bottom, in kind of a red pen, or ink at least. Part of you kind of doesn't. You recognize this workmanship from some of the runes that you saw in the Anthenaeum. On the top of the mountain, this is Heliodor's handwriting, as he has like written it in at some point. And on the bottom, it states that the soul of this champion is held in a ring of mind shielding in the Whisper Fields.
Sorry, Kree's mind is with 𝘏𝘀𝘏?
Kari's soul is with 𝘏𝘀𝘏, imbued into a magic item.
Okay.
In the Whisper Shields, was it?
In the Whisper Fields.
Okay. Sinza grabs some spare paper that she has and she kind of like writes all of it. Am I allowed to take notes in here? I just want to make sure. Am I like, because they're not allowed to take books out.
Are you asking one of the?
Yeah, she's just like
one of the librarians.
Yeah, she's kind of holding some paper. She's like, okay, thanks.
If you require any more paper or ink, please let me know.
I will. Thank you. She pulls back to her desk and starts frantically writing down notes. While she's there, she just kind of tries to get all of her thoughts out onto some forms of paper.
Okay. Is there anything anyone else is doing? Ymir's found a quiet corner to read her 100 Shades of Almost Grey.
I'm sketching this shit out. I'm just like... Got my braille machine and everything.
Who's gonna copyright you? There's no such thing as copyright, right?
Oh no.
What?
My freaking pen name is 𝘏𝘮𝘏𝘏𝘏. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
𝘏𝘮𝘏𝘏𝘏. Good to know.
𝘏𝘮𝘏𝘏.
It's around this time that a dwarf in gold gilded armor makes their way into the library, and they're kind of looking around. And Lyre, they kind of lock onto you and begin making their way over. Mr. Lord Lyre, sir.
Yeah. What? Hi. Oh, Thran.
Oh, sorry for distracting you from your work.
You're fine.
Aye, the council have agreed to meet with you.
Oh, okay, great.
The Duke Genko is sat up there in the council chambers at the moment. So if you'd like me to take you and your crew,
stop bowing. So. It's okay. Stop bowing. It's okay. Stop. You're making a scene.
It's habit, sir. I'm sorry.
It's just call me Lyre. It's okay.
He looks confused.
Okay. We will meet you at the door. I will gather my crew, and we will.
Hey, of course.
Yes.
And he kind of
don't
skedaddles.
I like him.
He's awkward.
That's my boy right there. I will go and gather everyone up. And start heading toward the door.
Okay. So Thran takes you up to that section of wall that you saw him pass into before. And as he places his hand on it, there's no button or anything here. the wall just moves. I'd like you, if you'd like to, make an Arcana check.
I would love to. Why not? 12 plus 8.
12.
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. He's clearly an earth elementalist in some regard.
He's so cool.
So he's geokinetic and able to move the earth with his hands.
Oh my god.
It seems like it might be quite a common trait down here.
Mm-hmm.
As he's just able to move the stone out of the way seamlessly and kind of gestures for you to follow him up a set of stairs. It's quite cramped in here for the two of you who are tall. This city is not built for someone of your height. As you make your way up the stairs, and it opens up into this large kind of gold gilded space with green architecture. It's beautiful. It is beautifully crafted. There's almost like a green marble across the floor, pillars that are studded down the hallway, and a large door that is closed currently with 2 guards on the outside of it. Thran kind of walks up and speaks something in Dwarvish, and the two of them nod and kind of say something back to him. Before they both begin to pull on the door, and it opens up into, if it will allow me to bring you here, a huge open space with a set of 7 chairs. Each chair is currently filled. There is a handful of dwarves. Most of them are dwarves, if anything. And then one that stands out very openly as being a drow. Which is strange. But they close the door behind you as Thran kind of waves you off and it's like, don't worry, they're not as scary as they look, as the door closes. And you are left in this kind of empty space with these 7 figures looking at you.
Right. Okay. Lyre will begin to walk up.
Yeah, Sinza follows.
Your footsteps kind of echo on the floor here. It is such an open space that is hollow, albeit beautiful. As you look down, you can see a depiction of Sith and the ring that curves around it, carved into the metal on the floor underneath you. The woman sat here in the centermost kind of throne, almost. This one stands out a little more than the rest of them. The marble that she's sat upon is almost tinted somewhat green. She's got dark hair, quite slim, with stubble that has been trimmed down for the most part. She's dressed kind of in white and purple. She's got a few kind of streaks of grey going through her hair, that's quite curly and long. And she smiles and kind of nods her head to you. I wasn't expecting my son to be sending guests so soon.
Thran is your son.
I'm 𝘞𝘰𝘮𝘭𝘥. I'm the violet matron.
Lyre will bow, I guess.
She kind of bows her head ever so slightly to you in thanks.
I do apologize. This is kind of my first time in a formal-esque setting, but going off the terms of entering the city, I'll introduce myself as such. My name is Lyre Weavewalker, the Vi of Asus.
You see a couple of them straighten up as you say that. But 𝘞𝘰𝘮 kind of stays put. She's got a very regal kind of air to her. It is a pleasure to meet you, Mr. Lyre.
I'll look back to my party.
Someone say something.
Kaiden, you're muted.
Dex, you're muted.
Dex, you're muted. Oh.
Sorry, it's because of pollen.
He's just like, Kaiden from the Duber Conclave, Keeper of Organs, and Collector of Rocks.
Keep it
He just turns a liar, like, looking at him like, didn't do good.
Is that your organs or other people's organs?
No, that's my organs. I don't. There's too many people trying to take them, and I want to make sure I keep them.
That is an appropriate title for you, then, darling.
Thank you.
And your friends.
Ymir 𝘏𝘬𝘭𝘏.
It
That's
does
what she says.
quiver here.
Oh, shit.
It's been some time since we've had one of yours in our city. It's a pleasure.
It's fortunate that you haven't come across a 𝘏𝘬𝘭𝘏 until now. Sorry about that.
I wouldn't say it's unfortunate in any way.
Sure.
And yourself?
Pleasure to make your acquaintance. I'm Sinza, lighted bearer of the ever dark, cursed vessel of the eyes behind eyes.
An interesting title. She smiles. It seems like she's somewhat used to this sort of thing. But it's been some time since she's had such a motley crew come into the city, especially one that has been invited by her son. And she kind of gestures. You can step a little closer if you'd like. I'm not going to bite.
Of course.
The previous matron might have, but I won't.
Of course. Lyre will begin to walk closer.
Starting from the far left, you see that each of these thrones has a name emblazoned on it, both in Dwarvish and in Common. You see a kind of a stout, blonde-bearded dwarf, who's starting to get some grey in his hair as well, who has this wide grin on his face, large kind of mustache that dangles down with kind of caps on each end of the stash. Again, a beard so long he's having to tuck it into his belt. But he's sat there with his kind of legs parted and he's leaning back and looks rather comfortable. And above him is the title 𝘏𝘪𝘨 Asperius. Next to him is a dwarven woman with bright red hair who looks freshly shaven, with a kind of a gold headband over the top of her forehead. She is plated from head to toe. She's got this fucking beautiful metal over her shoulders and her kind of breast, and sat like leaning up against the side of the throne itself is a greatsword that is maybe about twice the size of her. And above her, the title 𝘏𝘪𝘨 𝘏𝘪𝘨. Next up, you see this drow, who is significantly taller than the rest of the council that are sat before you, with kind of short, semi-curly black hair, very dark purple skin, bright red eyes, like bright red, as they're kind of looking at you with long pointed ears, and a kind of a tight, wire, high red collar and a waistcoat. And above it says 𝘞𝘰𝘭𝘥-𝘏𝘪𝘨, which you'd assume to be 𝘏𝘪𝘴𝘏𝘏's husband. Obviously, Carnelian has her own set up as you have been introduced. Next to her is a significantly older man that is so small, he looks dwarfed even in this throne made for dwarves. Like, he's tiny little wrinkly old man, with kind of stubble all over his face. He's got a pair of glasses that make his eyes look so massive that they just dwarf the rest of his face. So he's just got these gigantic magnified eyes. And he's sat with a handful of books kind of tucked down the side of the throne, almost as if it's trying to like fill the throne in a little bit, but also it just gives him something to read if he wants to. And it says 𝘏𝘫𝘏 Duskborn above him. Next to him is a young woman with very kind of almost operatic hair that is done up in like a beehive above her, with a curly beard that kind of curls round, is styled beautifully in a moustache. She is wearing a very pretty frilly purple and blue dress, with kind of ribbons in her hair. She's got lots of jewelry on. She looks very kind of prim proper, going to the opera sort of person. And above her it says Harsulia Fairrise. And then next to her is a kind of a dark-skinned man, bald, with a very dramatic beard that has been plaited in like 6 different ways. He's wearing kind of this big mantle of fur and some leather lamella over his kind of chest. And he's got a couple of kind of bandages up the wrists, up his arms, and a pair of chunky gloves that he's got kind of resting his hands in his lap. And it says Cornelius Pebblefoot above his name. But all of them are kind of looking upon you. Genka has kind of leant forward in their chair, and they're looking quite closely at you specifically, Lyre.
If I can notice that, Lyre will be like, "We were sent here by your husband," and you'll pull out the ring. I wasn't sure if I'm to return this to you now, or...
I'd prefer that you did.
He'll take it off and walk up and hand it to her. Sorry.
He takes it, then they kind of take it and they take it off of the chain to give you the chain back. And then put the ring on. It's on. They put it on their other hand, as they seem to have a matching ring on the other hand already. So they've got both on. And they rest their hands in their lap. Is there a reason Heliodor sent you?
There's a reason Heliodor sent us, and there is another reason we wanted to visit you all. To begin, Heliodor sent us because we have learned that his creations, his mechanical beings, and the natural beauty of, we believe, and Heliodor believes, are being corrupted by a man called the White Wolf.
Genka immediately stands up. And they are maybe 6'6". They are tall for a drow.
Big.
They are towering down, and they look furious. They look very angry. And you see as Carnelian kind of raises a hand towards them. Genka, not here. Fine. Let me sit back down. Oh, that conniving fucking bastard. Fine. Sorry. Yes.
As for what we're assuming of the little information we have, my friend here, Ymir, had a guardian that was made by the White Wolf.
Genka's head snaps to Ymir. Ymir, as you're looking around this room, You see with Carnelian a woman with dreads, like very hefty dreadlocks that have been tied back in a large ponytail. She's wearing this beautiful golden armor and wielding the sword that is currently up against Norfelder's chair. And she's just sat, leaning and looking at you. The spirit of the previous matron is currently watching quite closely. And she looks like a fucking force. She's an old woman covered in head to toe in tattoos.
Yeah.
She would absolutely wreck your shit. But currently she's dead, so I mean you don't have to worry too much about that. It's hard not to notice that there are quite a lot of people hanging around Genko.
But with that, Ymir and all of us only learned from Heliodor that the wolf had been using these creations menacingly, and rather than having whatever natural gift that Heliodor places into his automatons,
Lyre's sort of going to look to Sinza and Aaron for a bit of, am I okay to be saying this?
From what we assume is the White Wolf is infusing souls into his creations. Unwilling souls.
Lyre, roll me an insight check.
Ooh. You got this, boo boo.
Insight?
Insight.
14 plus 4, 18.
The air in the room gets far more kind of heavy. And each person here is beginning to kind of sit a little straighter and looking at you. You feel all of them kind of watching you quite closely, Maya. Genka's eyes, however, have not left Ymir. They are locked on the Azimuth currently. Carnelian leans forward in her seat. With an insight, you can tell that she is on edge, but she's trying to keep it level. She's got a face to uphold here.
We come in
Do you
good
have any idea how he got his hands on those blueprints?
We do not. We believe that there may,
And correct me if I'm wrong out of game, guys, because I can't fully remember the discussion.
we believe there might be a mole within the city.
Oh, this isn't the first time. Okay.
We want to iterate that we come in friendship, though. Heliodor helped me greatly. He helped me achieve something deemed impossible.
He's rather good at doing the impossible. Kaiden.
Just when he mentions mole to them, can you make an insight check on just like the other council members?
Yes, poor boy.
That's my boy.
You go.
Thank
yes, poor
you,
boy.
Kaiden.
Yes, poor boy.
He just wants to see if there's like any kind of reaction from them. It's a 9.
A 9.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard not to read Genka's face. Their eyes are wide. Kaiden, what's your passive perception?
Ooh.
29.
I wish it was. Where is it on the Foundry, the passives?
Your passives, I think your passive is 14. So I can't see.
Otherwise, I'll check D&D.
Yeah,
Your passive is 14. Yes, it is.
It is 14. Look at me, I remember things. With a passive of 14, as you're kind of trying to read Genka's expression, which isn't particularly going in your favor, they're fucking angry. That's easy enough to tell. Like, they're really angry. You see the hint of fangs on their lips.
And I can't read anything from any of the others. It's just kind of...
The rest of them are managing to keep this kind of stone face, but they're all very kind of tight, upright, and watching you.
I don't know, it's fangs on Genka. Okay.
Like I was saying, we come in friendship. We hope to form allies and help where we can.
Don't worry, dear, I don't believe this to be your fault. Thank you for letting us know. That is very pertinent information that we needed. As Carnelian is looking at Genka as if trying to get him to calm down. Ymir.
Can I insight check this fool? Why is he looking at me like that?
Yeah, you can.
What I do? Okay, let me do
Because
this.
you're
real quick.
wearing
Let me use-
the medal. You're wearing the medal that dude.
Okay, I'm sorry that my drip is better than yours, dog. I don't think you're mad at me. Jesus.
God, I wish Ymir says that
This guy
out
could
loud.
splatter us.
Have you tried?
Well,
Oh, let me get my
I'm
business
being
dice.
drippier than me? Okay.
Where are you going?
She's getting a dice.
Here we go.
Have you just
Just a
tried
bit.
not being bored?
Have you tried not being poor?
Of all people, Genka is far richer than you'll ever be.
That could splatter
Well,
us.
Listen. For now, insight. It's gonna be 13.
13. Very quickly, before I forget, Lyre, did you take a book out on vampires?
I did. On all the courts.
I've been reading Vampire Smut.
No.
Unfortunately, Jade, yours is absolute fiction.
Fuck!
Before I quickly get into your insight, Lyre,
Yes.
something you would have read is there were originally quite a few clans, vampire clans that are known.
Is he a Revillian?
11. You don't know. But like as you the things that you read, there were 11 clans, but one of them was dismantled.
Right.
It is the one closest to this city was dismantled. The 𝘏𝘏𝘏𝘏𝘏
Yes.
was effectively overturned. They killed the overseer and the elder, and freed all the thralls that were underneath them.
Genko was
Is
one
that
of
the
them.
one we passed on the way to, or is that something else?
No, that was something else.
Okay.
But that's something that you did read about. And I will, if you haven't already got access to it, I believe you do. There is a book called Red and Gold Vampire Culture that you can have a little read of. Ymir, with your insight check, a 13 was it? Genka is fuming, but not at you. They are staring at your armor, not at you. They've sat back down.
Okay.
They've got somewhat clawed hands that are gripping the sides of this chair that they're sat in. And they are just kind of trying to steady their breath a little.
Lyre, if you don't mind me kind of adding as well.
Of course.
Heliodor had asked us if we would be willing to go to the ring to investigate this further, but if there is a mole within your ranks, that may need to be investigated as well.
We can get you to the World Warp. We have connections to take you to the city. We have a teleportation circle in the city that allows us to travel around if we need to. plus a lot of mages who are sat around doing fuck all. Excuse my language. But if you require assistance to investigate this matter for us, you'll be paid handsomely for your efforts. This matters a lot to my son, and therefore it matters to me.
I understand that. I know that this knowledge, it meant a lot to 𝘞𝘪𝘭𝘮 when he mentioned it to us. He was just as mad as I can assure all of you are now, so...
We haven't had a missive from the White Wolf for quite some time. Since his previous ambassador passed, he hasn't sent anyone new.
There was someone who used to reside here with you, sorry? Is that what you're saying?
Yes, well, he used to visit very frequently. He was a dear friend. But the person he worked for was not exactly... We're not on great terms with the White Wolf. We're on amicable enough terms, but I just don't want to start a war, you know?
If we're to go there and start, I guess, asking questions, is that going to put some kind of political problem? I don't want to encourage something.
If I'm going to send you to do this, you are going to be missives of the 𝘏𝘪𝘧𝘵, and he's going to know what that means. She kind of turns to the rest of the council. 𝘞𝘏𝘏𝘧𝘐𝘐 is kind of sat forward in her chair. I mean, I've wanted the White Wolf off of that fucking tower of his for how long now? And this is an excuse to finally kick him out of his fucking chair? That sounds great. Look, it's not that easy. Yeah, it is. I could go up there and do it myself. I would. I fucking would. I know you would. And they're like kind of arguing. Lanthanayum is kind of sat looking at Kaiden. He's kind of got his hand on his cheek, and he's watching you. So this man over here, he's the guy that's kind of spread-legged, kind of like leaning on his arm and watching you. He's got this smile on his face, but he seems to be kind of assessing you. The others are kind of beginning to talk amongst themselves for a few moments. You have a brief moment of respite. Genka's just kind of staring at the floor.
Sinza turns.
Hey.
Sorry, Jade, you go.
I just had a quick question. How like the White Wolf and the Dusk Weavers sort of had this thing, right? Way back when. Is that something this council would know?
Carnelian recognized you. Or at least recognized your family name.
Yeah, the Violet matron knows you, dog.
What the fuck did I do? Well, never mind. The fuck did my no, wait.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's she would know then.
She would know a little. She probably wouldn't know about your personal affiliations, but she knows about your family affiliations.
With the White Wolf.
Yes. Be safe to us.
Okay, so there's no. Okay, yeah. Don't even no. I know my rights. Whatever I can say will be used against me in the court of the Amaranthine court of law. So I'll just keep my mouth shut.
Okay.
Sinza turns to the party. Do you want me to mention on Sihonos?
Right now, I think we should get to the bottom of the White Wolf situation and hear if they want us to help. I can try and promote us, I guess. Say we're stronger.
𝘞𝘪𝘭𝘮 had faith in us. He asked us to do it. He gave us a task. He saw something in us.
Remember how you said having allies is important?
Yes.
If they say maybe and we charge off anyway,
We need approval. We need to go ahead. A way to gain their trust.
I can try and be charming and sort of sell us up a little bit.
Charm away. You have my back.
Alright,
Or I have your back.
alright.
Okay.
Lyre will turn. I'm charismatic. Alright.
Yeah.
Oh, we're fucked.
Lyre will turn and be like, and say, I know all of you have probably 1,000 thoughts going in your mind right now, and for strangers standing in front of you saying we're here to help is probably one of the least interesting things that is on your mind right now, but I can assure you we are stronger than you might think. The approval and go ahead from 𝘞𝘰𝘮𝘧𝘐𝘮𝘠's side. Kaiden is one of the strongest people I have met. I have seen him fight giants and creatures you wouldn't believe and stand toe to toe with them and not blink an eye in fear. He has saved me many times and protected me every time. Sinza is a strategist, someone who can assess a battlefield like no one I've ever seen and take advantage of it every time. She is quick-witted, she is smart, but she is lethal. Ymir has power over magic I hope to one day mimic. She knows how to find a weakness and isolate it and use it to our advantage to make sure that we are strong and unified. And me? I was a civilian amongst these three for a while. A liability, if you will. But with the help of your husband, and you'll look over to Genka, with his trust and my ambition, I became the first no mage to become a mage.
There is an abject silence as you've been talking, as all of them have been listening to you. I'm not going to make you roll because you've convinced me, so I think, Carnelian has sort of leant on her hands for a moment. I trust my son's recommendation more than my own life. It was him and his people that stopped the city from falling. It was one of his people that brought me back from the dead. And she kind of gestures to a scar across her forehead. If he says that you're the right people for the job, then you are. And sometimes we need outside help, as much as this council may not agree with me. She kind of turns her head. We need the impossible. And that's what you are. And we will work together, I think, to make sure that the White Wolf doesn't keep up these fucking antics. I'll see what I can do to see if I can get you some tickets to get to the ring. There's bound to be people we can sway.
We're happy to help.
Genka, as he kind of turns his head, or turn their head, you're to accompany them and sort this out because this is not just their problem, it's yours. And they kind of, what, to the ring? You want me to go with them? You're a diplomat. That's your job. I know. I just haven't been there in quite some time. Now's a good time. Fine. Okay. I will go with them. Good. Good. I'm glad that's sorted. Have you had your accommodation sorted while you're here?
No, we sort of got here and went to the library, and that's it.
Good choice. Thran, as the door opens, and Thran kind of steps in, stands to attention. Take him to the guest quarters and get Orc to set them up somewhere, okay? Aye, sure thing, matron. Yes, your matron. Yes, your madamness. Thran, you don't need to call me that. And you watch as Lanthanum is smirking, and Kaiden, as you're kind of looking over at Lanth, he points to Thran and goes, "That's my son. He's an idiot." So he's just pointing. He's like a proud dad, but he's also just calling him twat.
That's my boy.
That's my boy. He's an idiot. He's my idiot.
That's the guy that's been staring at me.
Yeah.
Respectfully to the council, Sinza did have one bit of information that they wanted to raise with you all.
Aye?
Have you heard any word of the happenings in Sihonos?
Carnelian looks around the rest of the council, and most of them shake their heads. No. What's happened?
You've not heard of the borders closing there?
The borders are closing.
The borders have been closed for a few weeks now. I have a contact in Sihonos who I've been riding back and forth with. My friends and we met in Sihonos, and there was talk of a type of plague that was running rampant through some of the, I guess, the spaces. We looked into it and we discovered something not alive but not quite dead. Lyre, our friend, was able to discern some words that were carved on bone. Mine and mine forever, children of bones. Implications.
Roll me an insight check.
Get a girl.
15?
You see Genka's ears flick.
Sinza's
They are
eyes.
paying attention to you.
He knows.
Sinza's goat eyes kind of swell or like look in that direction, and then they continue speaking. While we were within the Amber District, after discovering these things, our friend Kaiden, he was taken. Kaiden possesses a kind of wild magic, something that I have not witnessed or something that I cannot understand, but it is pure. And I think they sought to utilize that.
Who's
We
they?
discovered. From what I understand, and from some of the papers that we found, they were referring to it as a synthesis. Them, a synthesis, a lich.
Lyre's gonna reach
possibly.
into his bags and like hit the ground and just sprawl it all out on the floor
Yeah.
and connects everything up.
As you're showing the evidence to them, Carnelian's looking towards Genka, almost like for confirmation. And you watch as Genka's almost like leaning over the table to take a look.
I pick the papers up and I hand them up to them if they're interested.
And they flick through them. And there is a symbol printed on some of these pages that most of the vampires that were in Sihonos were wearing. And Genka's watching it very, very closely before handing it over to Carnelian. Is the convent.
Fuck!
We encountered a group of vampires when we were there as well. One of them told us that they were a part of the convent. My history on vampires is a bit muddled. They were working with the Sanguine. They bore Sanguine symbols. We believe that the Sanguine were assisting them in spreading this disease or plague throughout other districts.
So Quito and Aurelia got fucking power hungry. Okay. Fine. That's something we can look into. You said there was a plague there. It's not safe to travel.
It was easily contracted. It had a very quick turnaround from the early stages that we saw. My contact, they work for the Dice of the Long Dark. They have a group there who were investigating further into this disease. My most recent contact warned me that it had changed, that it was very quickly becoming rampant. Like, the infected were dead, but not quite dead, and looked different, changed. From the notes that we acquired, it was like they were using wild magic and undeath to form something different.
Harsulia kind of sits forward a little bit. Doesn't Orin have a contact in Sihonos? And Carnelian frowns a little. Oh, you mean Echo? Maybe you And she kind of sits back in her chair for a moment and looks at all of you. This isn't something we offer to outsiders. This is very much a part of our culture. But there is a fae that lives here in the city. They have contacts outside, in the outside world. Sometimes they get us information and let us know what's going on. Perhaps they might have some more information on what's happening in Sihonos. Or maybe you should fill them in, because if their contact gets sick, there's a possibility Orin could get sick. And if Orin gets sick, it's going to spread to the entire city. All the crystals you see outside are Orin's eyes. They can see everything that happens here. And we tell them what happens here. It's a mutual agreement. But I think it might be worth you having an audience with them if I can see if they're willing to talk. You might have heard of them, known as the Merchant.
I knew it! Sinza, I think, takes a step forward and she's just nodding. If that's a possibility, if it's a, I guess, trade of information. I don't hold any ties to Sihonos. I don't have family there. But what we saw was devastating.
We're not
My
going to let
fears.
people suffer. If we have the supplies to be able to help them, we will send them.
I shouldn't be offering cautions, but I will. The way this thing is spreading, be careful with bringing people back here. Their intention is to spread it. If it gets out of Sihonos, it'll spread like wildfire.
We'll see what we can do. We'll have a discussion and we'll recall you back when we're ready to talk about this further. For the time being, I'm going to focus on trying to get you to the ring. You don't have to go immediately, but the sooner the better.
Right. Selfishly, Genka.
I look at you.
𝘞𝘪𝘧𝘵 said you could help me make a magical item.
That's kind of my thing. Good at that.
There's something I want to make, but the way it's described seems dangerous, and I owe 𝘞𝘪𝘧𝘵 that I will tell you about it, and if you think it is too dangerous, I won't make it.
We'll discuss it. We'll get you situated in your quarters first, and then we're going to have a chat. There's something tense about Genka. The way they're watching the party, you lot, very closely. But they are trying to kind of keep this demeanor. It seems like out of all of them, Genka and Lanth are the least noble to sit here. Lanthanaeum doesn't give a shit, but Genka's at least trying to put on some kind of noble persona here. You watch as Thran steps forward. I've sent forward words to Orc to get you some bedrooms and quarters set up for you while you're staying in the city. We'll get you situated so that you don't have to. It's probably a long trip you've done. So get you somewhere nice to sleep and some good food in you, and then you can have a chat with the Duke.
Thank you.
And he gestures for you to follow him. Are any of you doing anything before you leave?
Sinza just dips her head and turns on a hill.
Okay.
I want an inside check. How to pronounce his name?
Lanth?
Lanthanaeum.
Lanthanaeum. You can just call him Lanth. Lanth is fine.
Lanth.
Get him, Dex. Figure it out.
Smiling at you, boy.
You remind him of his son.
17. Where was this fucking roll when I was inciting on the mob? Fuck.
You watch as you're heading out. He kind of looks at you and goes, "You need drinks?"
Oh god, it's another Kaiden. It's another Kaiden.
Does he understand? My question is, does he understand the subtlety?
You know how to speak palms, and this is the most bullshit palms you've ever seen. But he's
maybe.
trying.
But for Kaiden, he's just thinking, "Oh, it's a drink. Cool. I like drinking."
That's pretty much what he's offering. He's just like, "Do you want to go to the tavern later?" You look like a good drinking buddy.
Yeah, he'll whisper, yeah.
You want to get fucking smashed?
Sounds good. Yeah.
Sick. He's just like, yeah. So as you kind of head out, Thran, as they close the door, Thran just goes, "Okay, but I've got your rooms set up with Orc. He's a weird one. He's like you." Points at Kaiden. He's like you. You'll get on with him, I'm sure. He's a bit of a weird guy, compared to the rest of his family, at least. But we've got a nice place set up for all of you on the ground floor, so you don't have to go up any stairs, ma'am, as he points at Ymir.
That's nice.
Just so everything should be nice and sorted by the time we get there, because Orc should be doing his goddamn job. Should be. Aye.
Thanks.
While we're walking, Toby, I want to keep an eye out for this fucking rabbit.
Okay.
The rabbit. I want to find the fucking rabbit.
because Kaiden needs to hunt a rabbit.
Mm-hmm. It's Wabbit season.
Well, now we know them rocks. The
Rabbit
merchant
season,
can look
bitches.
through them,
Mhm.
which is concerning.
Yeah, so every single guard in the city is acting as eyes for the merchant.
I want that rock still. It's still a rock.
I rolled a natural 20. Like,
Okay.
Lav, if you
No.
want to run and come check, it's there. I'm not touching it.
Oh, here we go. Oh my god, I've never seen her move so fast.
It's got the Kraken on it.
Oh, it's good.
It's good. Total is 21. Total is 21.
21. Okay. The path that you're moving up, you're kind of moving past residential areas, past the library. And it's getting quieter. It's quite peaceful around here. As you're moving towards almost like a forested area. Lyre, as you're keeping an eye out, you're looking down this kind of section down here. And there is this flash of movement. Barely visible. Like, it's so quick you could barely register it. But they were taller than a dwarf, cloaked in shadow as they moved. In terms of a silhouette, hard to determine, but you don't think it was hair that was kind of being blown back in the wind there. It was something, two kind of long shapes on either side of the head, laying flat. And then another figure that follows after them, very quickly. And another. 4 figures that move quickly through the shadows.
Okay. How far away are they? Just out of curiosity.
They are down here. So there may be 200 feet. But that is a quiet road for the most part.
They're out of range. Damn it. I have Vortex Warp.
You could have just yeeted one of them over to you.
That was the plan. I was gonna be like, Kaiden.
Yeets them
Cast
over.
guidance.
Kaiden is just the Madagascar. He's like, hi there.
I was just gonna be like, Kaiden, catch.
Yeah.
And but they're out of range.
Unfortunately, they were out of range, but you have a general idea of where they may be.
They might be located. Gotcha.
Okay.
As you make your way into the guest residences, there is a little winding, almost like hand-carved river that has been poured out of a waterfall on the mountainside. Buildings built into the stone, and sat under a large tree is a druid. Which is really not what you were expecting to see underground in a city in a mountain. Is a little white-haired dwarven man wearing similar clothing to Kaiden. And Thran shows up and just goes, "Orc, is it ready?" "Yes, it's ready. You need to shout." "Okay, well, your rooms are ready. That's good. I guess Orc isn't going to get up and show you, so I guess that's kind of a job." "No. Not like I had other things to do." As he kind of begins to make your way through. But he's just sort of sat almost like meditating under this tree. Are any of you doing anything before you head inside?
I'm good.
I'm good.
Okay. Kaiden looks deep in thought.
Kaiden's
I think
Kaiden's
Kaiden's
plotting.
He's not sure what. Like, does it look like they're doing anything specific they recognize?
You are watching from a distance for the most part. You're watching him. His hands are moving as he's meditating. And at one point, it looks similar to one of the dances that you had done with Lyre. As if he's plotting it out with his hands, meditating.
I'm gonna nudge Lyre and point it out. Essentially, does the hand movement look similar? But when you showed me the dance moves,
It does.
He's just twerking under the tree.
We may have found you a tutor.
He doesn't seem to be
seems like he wanted
noticing
to.
you much.
He didn't seem to want to interact, even Thrawn.
Kaiden, when you were in this space, you were not there.
Well, maybe I shouldn't bother him right now.
A good call.
I think I'll come back.
Orc doesn't really go anywhere, so I'm sure you'll be able to come
Okay.
and bother him later. He likes his tree.
Oh, okay.
Kaiden, roll me a history check.
Yeah, get it, buddy. He was in your conclave. It's your uncle. It's your uncle.
Oh my god.
It's going to be a 12.
12. As you're kind of looking at the tree, it's somewhat similar to the tree in the 𝘞𝘏𝘭𝘥 conclave, like in the center. This man is a one-man druid grove,
Oh.
Legend.
and that is his grove.
Oh.
That tree is a blessing of a priest.
Okay, I think
Which is why all the grass around it is bright green and then kind of dulls into stone.
Kaiden's going to go... He doesn't want to bother him at the moment, but what he's going to do, he's going to put some moss down by the edge of the tree. It's like just a little offering kind of thing, just to show some, support, essentially. Puts some moss down and leaves him to his devices.
You see as you place it down, he's got both eyes closed. He just kind of opens one eye and looks at you.
What are you doing at my tree?
Don't touch.
And then looks down at the moss and he's like, honeysuckle, nice. And then closes it down.
Oh, they're gonna be best friends.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Nice.
It's a rare occasion there is a druid within the city of Violet Gold, so he's relatively nice as he speaks to you, but he seems like kind of bitter towards Thram.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't quite get on with the other dwarves.
Okay. I don't want to disturb him any longer for the moment. So.
As you make your way into the residential, you are each greeted with a room each. These stone gilded rooms that are gilded in brass and gold. Each one has kind of an inlaid bath in the corner that has it's almost like an infinite running bath with a series of different kind of soaps and materials for you to use. A gigantic feather down double bed per person. These are classy fucking rooms. These are real classy. And there is a selection of wines and cheeses and foods on the side for you each that have been set out and laid up. But you each have a bedroom that you have at the moment indefinitely.
Is there like a common area where we can all kind of come together and congregate, I guess?
Your rooms are all attached by a central area, yes.
Oh,
So there's
okay.
like a fire pit in a central area that you can go and sit around. But if you want to remove yourself and go and have some time alone, then the rooms are there available. It's almost like a round-shaped central area with each of the rooms splitting off.
That's cool.
You have somewhere to stay for the night. Lanth kind of nods his head. Look, if you need anything from me, if you shout or let Oak know, he'll send someone out to come find me. Lieutenant Thran Asperius, if you're asking for me, because I guess I should use my full title. I'm still getting used to the lieutenant part, so just Thran's fine. But if you're calling for me, yeah, that. And then he kind of bows again awkwardly. Okay.
Every time he bows, it's like Kaiden doesn't understand, just bow to them, so he kind of bows back. It's just like every time he's doing it, they're just back and forth.
They're gonna give each other a teacher.
You just every time you bow, he bows, so it's just this constant cycle.
Yeah.
Is that yes, okay. If you need me, just call for me, and I'll come and get you. All right.
Thank you.
Genka will be here to visit the Duke. Sorry, the Duke will be here to visit at some point.
Thank you.
Take care. And he kind of excuses himself.
The second the door closes, Lyre's gonna slam into Kaiden's chest, grab his shirt, and pull him close.
He has a shirt.
Whatever.
Grab his chest.
Whatever fur you have on your shoulders or whatever. He's gonna pull you and be like, "I saw the rabbit."
Where's the rabbit?
He's down the street, just around the corner. When we have time, we're gonna go find the fucking rabbit.
What are you two on about?
Don't worry about it. We're gonna find the rabbit. If Kaiden can tell you, it's his thing. But I saw the rabbit.
I'll show the wanted poster. I was looking for suspicious people. After Thron mentioned about how to get the rock. So, and then I found this.
On a rabbit hunt, is what you're saying?
Yeah.
It's rabbit season.
So it's rabbit season.
And the reward is 5,000 gold.
It's rabbit season.
It is
it's rabbit season.
Or a purple stone and some gold.
Okay. I'm gonna go have a bath, to be honest.
Sounds like a plan.
I need a decompress. How's everyone's okay? I know that was a lot. I'm just doing check-ins. Everyone's good.
Yeah.
We did good.
I think we did good.
We need a name.
What they said?
Swear to God, if you look me dead in the eye and call yourself Sack one more time,
This was biting his fucking lip.
I'm not gonna say Sack. I'm gonna say something else.
Sentinels against
They
chaos.
did say they need the impossible, so maybe we have our name with something like that in that. I'm just saying, you can workshop it. That's kind of cool. I'm just saying. We'll workshop it.
We can have a think.
Yeah.
Guardians against yapping.
I'm sorry?
Gay for the short.
Oh, yes. Yep.
And with that, we are going to end our session. Thank you very much for watching and for playing. I hope you guys had fun.
It's good to be back, baby.
Yeah, so good to be
Next
back.
week,
You gave me free will.
I did, and that's the problem. We'll see you again next week. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.